Right to freedom, freedom of religion. So right to freedom of religion. What is the freedom of religion? We can choose whatever religion we need. So we can convert from one religion to another. Means it's our choice. If we want to, if we are not satisfied with one religion, we can convert into the another religion. No one can be again. No one can stop us. No one can say anything to us. Means no one should hurt us. As why you have changed this, as this is a tradition we should not follow. It's our own choice. If we want to change, we can change to the other religion. We have that right. Means as an individual, we can choose which religion we need. So all individuals are free to follow their conscience and practice any religion. No one can be prohibited from following his or her religious practices as an individual. This also means that a person can decide to change his or her religion. However, this right also preserves the spirit of secularism in India. For example, one cannot commit a crime like infanticide in the name of religion. Similarly, the practice of sati cannot be committed in the name of religious freedom. According to the constitution, the government does not have any religion. It should treat all religions as equal as mentioned earlier. This is what the preamble means when it says that India is secular. To education and culture. So we have to make everyone to be educated. So when they have the educational right, then only they can understand what is happening in our surroundings. They will get the awareness about it. And also culture. We have to protect the culture, the traditions, what we are following, and also we have to respect each other's culture. So the constitution says all minorities, whether based on religion or language, shall have the right to establish and administer educational institutions of their choice. Minority groups are usually thought of in terms of language and religion. Whether or not someone is a minority also depends on where they live. For example, Telugu speaking people form a majority in Telangana and Andhra Pradesh, but they would be a minority in West Bengal. Sikhs constitute a majority in Punjab, but they are a minority in Andhra Pradesh, Rajasthan, Haryana, etc. So they have the freedom to establish and run institutions in order to protect their culture and language. For example, if Kannada speaking people wish to run a Kannada medium school in Telangana in order to preserve their culture and language, they cannot be prevented from doing so. So the government also has to recognize and provide grants to such institutions. If they have fulfilled other essential conditions, in the above example as we said, if such a school is affiliated with the Telangana State Board and fulfills the board's conditions, then it can receive grants from the state government just like any other institution. So the next is right to constitutional remedies. Means we have, if we feel anything, if it was going against the constitutional rights, so we can complain, and we can directly complain in the Supreme Court or the High Court. Means we have to follow, everyone should follow these rights. Everyone have the right to follow their own rights. They can use their own rights. If we feel that anything is going against it, so we can protect remedies, we can take the remedies, we can take the precautions to protect these constitutional rights. So as mentioned earlier, these rights are so important that a violation of these rights by the state gives the people the fundamental rights to approach the High Court and Supreme Court. When such rights are violated, they can be restored by the courts by giving specific directions or orders. It is the responsibility of the government to protect the people against any violation of their fundamental rights. A case can be filed against the government if it fails to do so. Many times, the poorest and marginalized sections of society cannot afford to approach the court even when their rights are violated. To make these rights meaningful to everybody, the courts, under the exercise of judicial review, have encouraged the people to file public interest litigation. This is also called PIL. That is, if the rights of a group of people are being denied, each affected person does not have to file a separate case. Any person or organization can file a case against the government on behalf of this group of people. This kind of case is called a public interest litigation. It has now expanded to include many other kinds of public interest litigations, including environmental issues, transparency, and probity of the governments, the treatments of prisoners, etc. Of fundamental rights. So, what is the main aspect of these fundamental rights? So, the fundamental rights provided in Constitution have been amended. Amended means changing. Has been amended from time to time. So, according to the situations, it may change. Some of the amendments can be done. Some of them can be changed. So, moreover, many new rights have been included in it. Means, as we did the amendments, we will get more some of the rights. So, many rights have been included into it, like right to education. Rights may be modified through the parliament. So, where it was modified, these rights were modified in the parliament. So, the Supreme Court could also make judgments that would expand the meaning of a particular right. For instance, right to food has thus been expanded into the context of right to life. So, the next is the other institutions and rights. What are the other institutions? So, rights like the idea of democracy have captured the attention of people across the globe. Rights are often traced to the Magna Carta of England and French Revolution, where a declaration of rights of man and of citizens was announced. After the World Wars, United Nations was established with an objective to ensure that there are no more major wars across the globe. United Nations assigned to a group of people from 9 different countries around the world who drafted a list of 30 articles. This became the Universal Declaration of Human Rights, which was passed by the UN General Assembly in 1948. The member nations of the UN are all signatories to this and thus under obligations to uphold these rights. While these do not have the force of the law, violation of these rights will be considered unacceptable by the international community and in many cases invite sanctions by other countries. Human Rights Commission, the United Nations, has been working to protect the basic human rights of people, and in this effort they have encouraged their member nations to do the same. In 1993, the Government of India passed an act of legislature to protect human rights. A commission for human rights was set up under this law called the Nations Human Rights Commission, that is NHRC. The commission has been given powers of a civil code extendable to the entire country. The government has also established other institutions to monitor and inquire into situations in which these rights are violated. Thus, we have different institutions such as the National Commission for Women, National Commission for Protection of Child Rights, National Minority of Commission and State Human Rights Commission. NHRC is vested with the authority to make an inquiry, suo motu, on its own initiative or on a petition presented to it by a victim or any person on his or her behalf. So, it intervenes in any proceedings involving any allegation of violation of human rights pending before a court with the approval of such court. It also makes and reviews the safeguards provided by or under the Constitution for the protection of human rights and recommends measures for their effective implementation. So, at the international level, the UNO has instituted a committee for human rights which look into the violations of the international acts. So, the next is the violation of human rights. So, the police exercises arbitrary arrest, denial of right to information and corruption, sexual cruelty and rape of women, delay in investigation of crimes, female infanticide, kidnapping for ransom, deplorable conditions of women, children and downtrodden people, discriminations against women in the family, cruelty to domestic servants are certain violations of human rights. Means these are the examples of the violation of the human rights. So these violations continued unchecked because people are not aware of their human rights. So as the people are not aware of the human rights, they don't know that they are facing the problems. So protection of human rights is the responsibility of the state. So here the state means not only the government officials, even as the individuals, as a person of these, as an Indian, even we have the responsibility to share these rights. If we know that anyone are facing any trouble in our society, we have to make them to aware of their human rights. So complaints about violation can be made to national or state commission. So as we already said, the human rights are the universal, not only within the country, within the India, wherever we face the problems as the universal rights, we can complain there. Means wherever country we are, we will get the protection of the human rights.